hottest beats.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in on today's video. As you can see, we are working away on the dually because we are doing some nice little upgrades on the dually today. Number one being the no limit intake for the 6.0 Powerstroke. The biggest intake that you can buy on the market for your truck, and we're gonna need as much air as possible that we can cram into this engine, and the no limit is gonna take care of our needs on that. Big huge shout out to KC Turbos. We talked with them. They got us hooked up on the no limit intake as well as the CTS3. We're gonna flip the camera around and we're gonna talk about the no limit intake, why we went with this one, fit, finish, and of course the CCV fitting that you guys saw. So when I ordered this from KC Turbos, I saw this intake and the CTS3. Literally, guys, within 2 days, it was at my door, and that alone is a huge thing. They keep a lot of inventory in stock, and so typically, you know, I'm like kind of pressing to get my stuff, so I call them up, they get me hooked up, and here we are. So the no limit intake, the biggest intake for the 6.0 Powerstroke. You can get this pipe powder coated or you can get it polished. I went with the polished look. I've got kind of some plans for our intercooler piping, so we went with polished under the hood. For the accent color and the pre-filter, we went with a red pre-filter from No Limit. This intake is actually a AFE intake that they provide with their setup here, but I highly recommend the pre-filter, guys. The pre-filter is way easier to clean than your actual air filter, and you'll have to clean it more frequently, but you won't have to replace air filters as frequently. So big fan of the pre-filter for this. It is a tight fit. Okay, there's no lying about it. All right, it is tight through here. We actually have our fuel bowl deleted up top here, so it makes it look like there's a lot more room when there's really not. Your oil dipstick, I have in the past, and I have on this one. I bend this out of the way just a little bit so that it's not sitting there rubbing. You can see we still got some contact there, so we might make an adjustment back. But if we look inside of there, we can see our CCV fitting, which is a -12 or 3/4 inch hose coming out of there. So the 90 that comes off of that is, we want it to be free-flowing. We don't want a sharp 90. And so, yeah, everything is just kind of stuffed in a 1-pound sack here. So, but nonetheless, it does look amazing. And I actually had this set up on my race truck previously. And yes, is all I can say. So, awesome freaking setup. Now, before we dive in any further, we are doing some very interesting testing over here. And then if we come back here, I'm not sure if I showed you guys this, but we do have our 08 to 16 taillight kits are in stock and shipping out. So check these bad boys out on the back of the dually. And then you can also see we picked up a beautiful 2008-16 rear bumper as well. No sensors in it because this truck is a XLT, but yep. Those CCV fittings that you saw, those are prototypes. We're coming out with something. I've gotten a lot of people that are very, very interested in getting a CCV kit. So those will be available very, very, very soon. That is a prototype. As you can see, it locks into place beautifully, and very, very exciting about that, guys. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing a couple videos on that once we have the 03 and 05 fittings figured out here. So stay tuned. If you're not following me on Instagram, that is the place that is going to see the action first. So now we're going to move into what our next thing for today, which is our CTS3 install. As you guys know, summer is coming up and we're going to be sled pulling with the dually. And although EGTs might make me pull my foot off the gas pedal, we need some gauges. So we've got the CTS3 here on the table that we're going to be installing. We've got a EGT probe that we're also going to be installing with it. That way we can monitor, check and clear codes, do some data logging. It's just very, very important. This truck with 205, 75s, a stock 03 turbo. Yeah, we need to get some gauges on this thing. And there's a lot more performance stuff coming for the dually. Believe me, I'm really excited. This pulling season is going to be a lot of fun. This truck's going to need a transmission. But let's go over what we got on the table, and we'll get to installing. We have one of the greatest products ever from Edge here. We've got the CTS3 display monitor. We've got the suction cup mount because they don't make a good mount for our old trucks here. Shout out to Edge. Come on, step up your game. We've got a couple of data cords, whatever. This is what we're going to be plugging into our OBD2. And then here is our EGT probe kit. This is the starter kit. So it does come with the expandable setup. That's what this one is, actually. So it does come with that. As you can see, we've got the that'll plug into there, and that'll go down to our EGT probe. And then if we want to monitor fuel pressure and boost and everything else that that this may not be able to, we can add on to it. So let's go ahead. We're going to run our wires for this first to get that plugged in, and then we'll go ahead and crawl underneath the truck and get going on this. All right, fast forward, and you can look down in here, and we have our expandable kit. We've got the wire ran through the cab next to all of our other junk that we got going into the cab. And if we look down here, you can see, hopefully, you can see our EGT probe right there into our nice, beautiful RCD manifolds. One cool thing about the RCD manifolds, it's already got a bung welded on that you can see the EGT probe going into. So fortunately for us, we did not have to do anything as far as drilling and tapping. That's fairly simple though if you do need to drill and tap. And then we've just got it run up here. We've got it going into our expandable kit. That's run through the firewall and then into the cab of the truck, where we have tied up our wires up underneath here. And the way I like to do it, which, you know, we've got the BDX over, or we've got our BDX tuner, and then we've also got the module up there for our tap shifter. So we've got it plugged in, and then it's going to run across, and then just behind here you can actually see the cord right here. That is our expandable kit plugging into our cord that goes up to our CTS3. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown on some of the things that I like to monitor in my 6.0 Powerstroke. So you can see I've tried to lay this out the best way that I possibly can, but a lot of our temperatures are over here on the right hand side. A lot of our kind of weird that don't really mean a whole lot to us are kind of in the middle, and then over on the left we've got a little bit more pertinent information. So like we said, top right corner we've got transmission fluid. You know, I should preface this and say that you don't need to watch all these all the time. You could probably watch 4 of these and that would get you a long way. But I'm weird and kind of a geek, and I like watching this stuff, so I like to have as many PIDs up as possible. So like I said, transmission fluid temp over on the top right corner. I like watching that, obviously, especially if your guys are hauling. Engine oil temp and coolant temp right next to each other. We like to keep an eye on those, especially, again, if you're hauling or driving around in the hot summer. Keeping an eye on those is always a great idea. If you've got an oil leak, or if you've got a coolant leak or something, or running low on coolant, those temperatures are going to key you in on, hey, maybe there's an issue. And then finally, down at the bottom, on the bottom right-hand corner, we've got our EGT probe. So we've got, right now we're sitting at 342 degrees. I do have an alert set on that for 1200. It's just a warning. And then I have the red alert set at 1400 degrees. Now in our right next to that column, we've got the ICP, we've got ICP voltage, battery voltage, and FICM voltage. So a lot of that is our voltages from the battery for our FICM, ICP, and then also our ICP pressure up at the top. Pulse width, IPR percentage, mass fuel injection, and volume fuel desired. A lot of that is just fueling stuff. It isn't really going to mean anything when we're going down the road, but we like watching it. And then finally, more pertinent information over on the left-hand side. We've got boost, we've got engine speed, we've got vehicle speed, and we've got accelerator pedal position. So accelerator pedal position, that is just so that I can see if I'm being a chicken or not, or if I'm actually holding it to the floor. We've got vehicle speed. It does correlate with our factory right now, but we are going to be switching these tires up and going a little bit larger. So I believe we can program our tire size into this. And then we've got engine speed, just something that I can look at instead of the dash. I can know exactly where we're sitting at for engine speed. Obviously, this is just a tach, and that's an actual number. And then finally, boost up at the top left corner there. Again, not really all that important, other than if you think you're lacking power, you can monitor boost, see if you're down on boost than normal. So I do like monitoring that a little bit. But it does, this truck will max out the boost gauge at 32 PSI, and so it doesn't really mean a whole lot for us. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in. We just wanted to go over everything on the install for this, and then go over some of the parameters that we like to watch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and keep an eye on the next few videos. We got some really cool content coming out. We're going to be doing some extra stuff with this CTS3 here, so definitely stay tuned. I've got a few videos lined up for you guys, so thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one.